Sri Guru Charana Kamalebhyo Namaha. Sri Shukadev Goswami says to King Parikshit, O king, when Bharat Mahārāja relinquished his deer's body in the Gandaki river, he took birth in a Brahmin house who came in the lineage of Angira Muni. Angira Muni is a great sage born out of Lord Brahma's mind, direct son of Lord Brahma. In that lineage, Bharat Mahārāja took birth as a human being in Brahmin house. This Brahmana was very clean, spiritually interested, very learned in the scriptures, very austere, and very expert in performing spiritual activities and religious activities. He did not envy anyone. He was very humble and tolerant. He had 2 wives. He married 2 times in 2 different occasions. The first wife, he produced 9 sons. The second wife, whom he married later on, had twins, 1 daughter and 1 son. From the second wife, 1 daughter and 1 son, twins. Among them, the son was Bharat Mahārāja. Means Bharat Mahārāja was born as a son of this Brahmin's second wife. This Bharat Mahārāja was a great devotee in his past life, so he could remember what had happened in his past life. By the influence of his pure devotion, he could recollect his 3 lives. Means this life, and a deer's life, and a King Bharat's life. The repetition takes birth, means the connection to this world to have a birth is due to illusion and material attachment of a living entity. Attachment to material affairs and being illusioned of I, me, my mind, cycle of repeated birth and death carries on with the living entity. Whatever karma they perform, as per that, a next body is rewarded. So Bharat Mahārāja was attached to a deer. So as per the attachment with a deer, he had taken another birth as a deer. One should not be attached with anybody except spiritualist. If you are attached to Guru and Kṛṣṇa, you get liberation. If you are attached to a devotee, at least you will take birth as a devotee. But if you are attached to material things, then yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tijantante kalevaram. Whatever you recollect at the time of death, that's what you get. Like that. Because Bharat Mahārāja became attached to a deer, he had to take birth as a deer. Illusion, attachment is so strong, it's very difficult to give it up once you became attached to anybody. If you are attached to your wife, or you are attached to your husband or children or somebody, it's not easy. You are attached to taking drugs. You got addiction. You cannot live without eating drugs, without accepting drugs. That's why one should not become attached to anything. That is called mohajala, mohojala samavrata. Prasakta kama bhogeshu. It becomes very entangled, it's very difficult to give up. Devotional life is only solution from becoming free from material attachment and illusion. Because devotional life functions as a knife hatchet to cut the severe, the material attachments. Like that. So, but the divinity, the providence has one rule. That is, that living entity carries on taking birth again and again in different species, but he made one rule that they forget their past deeds, past life. Everything from past is forgotten. If they could recollect, if they could remember, by remembering that if I was a snake or a bull or a mosquito or a tree in my past life, possibly I would go crazy now. That's why divinity very smartly decided that everybody forget their past birth, everything of the past birth. Whatever kind of species one takes birth, surely divine authority makes them forget everything about it. Otherwise, people would go crazy. We will have many, many crazy people moving around thinking I was a, I don't know what, so like that. But Bharat Mahārāja was a pure devotee in his past life. That's why he could recollect everything about those past lives. And he meditated on the Supreme Lord all the time in those lives, and he wants to remember the Lord in this life also. Due to the potency of his pure devotion, he was very careful in this life. Even though he was born in the Brahmin house, he remembered that he was a deer in his past life. And he was a big king prior to that life. He did not want, that's why he did not want, because he became an animal from a human being. That's why he did not want to become attached to anybody or anything. He was very careful. All the time he meditated on the Supreme Lord. He would see within him the beautiful form of the Lord and meditated on this. Just like his situation was just like a person who reads a book and while reading he falls asleep, and when he wakes up whatever he read is forgotten. But again he reads. Whatever was read prior to sleeping is very easily can be revived, because that reading, the memory of reading, is somewhere dormantly lying in some corner of memory. So once he reads, he can recollect. And next new, he has to revise again and again to memorize and understand it. Similar situation is with devotee Bharat Mahārāja. So he could recollect everything because his devotion was complete. His devotion was not half, as I said about half reading book. That is only example. Bharat Mahārāja's devotion was complete. He's supposed to go back to Godhead. But because he became attached to deer and he thought about deer, so he had to take birth as a deer. So he broke that rule that he should be concentrating on Kṛṣṇa, which due to his full devotion, but he recollected the deer, that's why. So he did not want to be attached to anyone. He was scared of involving in anything. That's why he acted as a deaf, dumb, dull, and crazy madman, like that. He acted, but he was not having all these qualities. He did not have any of these symptoms, but he was acting and making a drama, a show that he was a dumb, deaf, and dull or crazy man. This act was being done by Bharat is because he did not want anybody to come near him, to behave with him, to deal with him. He did not want to deal with anybody. He wanted separation from everybody because he was scared to be having another birth. We are not scared. We do so many things. We should be also learning from this example that we should be scared to be involved with anybody. Because if I'm involved with my wife, I will think of her possibly and we do not know where will I go. I may become a woman. If I'm attached to my daughter and son, my children, finish. If I'm attached to drugs, finish. I don't know what will happen. That's why we should not be attached to anything. The father was a saintly person, learned person, Shastra Chakshusa. He arranged for sacred thread ceremony. So he performed sacred thread ceremony. The thread all goes on the shoulder. After sacred thread ceremony, the one who newly obtained the sacred thread has to be taught how to perform Āchārya and chant Gayatri, and there are processes and so many mantras have to be memorized. Bharat Mahārāja did not want any of it because he was scared if I make a mistake, what will happen to me again? So even though his father tried again and again on many occasions, Bharat Mahārāja did not learn. He did not say, because Vedapati bhavid vipraha, sanskarat bhavid vijaha, sanskar he did already, he took another birth as a Brahmin now, but now he has to study Vedas, but father tried in many ways, he did not study. Father was in anxiety that my son is not learning, unable to learn. Mata satru pita vairi yena balo na pathitaha. If father and mother, they do not teach the science of God and spirituality and scriptural injunction to their children, then they are the enemies of that child, those children from their past life. Nowadays, who is teaching that? We claim to be devotees and our children we send to Gurukul and they come out, we do not know what. This kind of teaching is not good. We must be careful. After a long time passed, the son did not learn. Bharat Mahārāja did not learn. So father did not reduce his affection for his son. What can he do? He tried again and again, he gave up. After some time, father passed away. When father passed away, he had two wives. One is young one and one is elder one. One is younger one is elder one. So the elder one had 9 sons, younger one had only 2 sons, twins. So younger one said to the elder one, our husband is gone, I want to enter in the funeral pyre instead of you because you got 9 sons, so you can take care of my 2 children. Please take care of my children and I will go. So she did. She entered in the funeral pyre of her husband and died. Now father is away. When cat is away, mice don't play. When father is away, these 9 sons, they are grown up, elder than Bharat Mahārāja in age. So they were also not acting as a crazy. They were not making a drama. They learned all these rituals, karma kanda. They were expert. They became expert in karma kanda. Karma kanda, jnana kanda, sakala visir bhanda karma kanda is full pot of poison. And if kadri khai, if one adopts this, cannot be liberated. So these 9 sons were expert in performing karma kanda. Traigunya vishaya veda nistraigunya bhavarjunaha in Bhagavad Gita. The ritualistic ceremonies stated in the Vedas are governed by 3 modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. And one goes beyond 3 modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, situates above these 3 modes, then only devotional service begins. Real one, like that. So these 9 sons, 9 brothers, step-brothers, because now Bharat Mahārāja was under the care of his step-brothers and his stepmother, like a co-wife of his father, stepmother. So the stepbrothers thought this fellow don't learn anything. Why we waste? So they did not want did not want to teach him anything. So what happened? Bharat Mahārāja was always in the thoughts of Kṛṣṇa. These were ignorant of Kṛṣṇa. They only wanted rituals. Therefore, they were not aware of any knowledge beyond this creation. Supernatural knowledge, devotional service, they had no faith. Bharat Mahārāja was let go free because they stopped him not teaching. And Bharat Mahārāja was moved around here and there. He did not care about who respected him, who disrespected him, who behaved badly, insulted him. The people were usually worldly people. Outside devotional life is all worldly people, including those who are karmakandis. They are also called worldly people, but they are religious people. They would think, normal people would think Bharat Mahārāja to be very innocent and stupid, dumb, deaf, and we call him like that. A fallen Brahmin, come here, like that. Because he did not learn, he did not become learned in Vedas or scriptures, he was scared. Nobody knows about that because he did not let anybody know why he is acting like this. Whoever asked him to do anything, he did without considering what kind of job they wanted him to do. He just did it. Anybody gave him food, he ate it, not just because he wanted a good taste to the tongue. He just ate it because just to keep his life and soul together, body and soul together, like that. He did not care about heat, cold, and rain. He did not care who abused him. Used abusive words like that. He would move around like a wild bull. Anywhere he wants to go, he could go like that. And he would wear just rags, sometime wear rags, cover the secret parts and move. And those rags became dirty because he would not take bath, he would not use soap. Sometimes he would not take bath, so he did not use any oil, so much of dust on his body. His purity, his vigor of purity was kept hidden like a jewel covered with dust. Ordinary people would think, oh, he's just a fallen Brahmin, and would ignore him. That was a good sign for Bharat Mahārāja because they ignored him. They did not want to deal with him like that. Thus moving around everywhere, wearing only rags, dirty, not washed rags. Plus his Brahmin thread became dirty. One should not have their thread, Brahmin thread, go dirty. Brahmins usually not let their Brahmin thread go dirty. Those who let their Brahmin thread go dirty, they are not good Brahmins. Seeing their dirty thread, his dirty thread, people did not respect Bharat Mahārāja. There are rules for Brahmin thread that it can only be changed if it is broken. Can only be changed if somebody took birth in the house. Can only be changed if somebody died in the house. Can only be changed after eclipse is completed. Can only be changed if a woman who is passing through menstrual period and touched. Can only be changed if you are living in the same house where a woman is going through menstrual period. Besides this, one should not change the Brahmin thread because changing Brahmin thread without any reason is an offense. Like that. All these rules are taught by a person who is performing this thread ceremony. When one is rewarded with a thread, all these rules are told. Like my spiritual master told me the rules. When I was there with him alone, he initiated me alone. There was nobody else taking initiation with me, neither first nor second. I was alone. And I never asked my guru to give me initiation. One can request to receive initiation, but I did not ask. Let my guru initiate. I asked him 2 times, I think 2-3 times, but that's all. He said, you are already guru. You don't need initiation. You are a Brajavasi Brahman, learned already. You are already guru. Because in Vrindavan, Prabhupada lived in Vrindavan before he came to America. So in 10 years he learned our Brahmins are called gurus in Vrindavan. Our father was a guru, had thousands of people as they were all householders. We would receive so many sweets. People would bring sweets, their disciples, his disciples, and we were children. And we would eat so many sweets and give it to the neighbors. Like that. So, when it's rewarded with sacred thread, is taught at that time. Like my guru taught me, and I teach whomever I give thread. Like that. Or one has to be qualified to receive thread. One should not demand for thread, because it is an offense if you cannot maintain the thread rules. I know some disciples outside of India received thread, and I know they are not doing it right. So they are offensive. I tell them, but only as much I can tell, like that. So once Narada Muni reached his spiritual master, Lord Brahma is the spiritual master of Narada Muni, and asked him a question. Kena chotpaditam sutram, kena va triguni kritam, granthi bandhana krute kena, kena mantrena mantrina. O spiritual master, the duty of guru is to clear the doubts of a disciple. Can you please, I have a doubt about the sacred thread. Can you please clear it? He said, go ahead, ask. So can you please tell me who created this Brahmin thread in the first place? Who multiplied 3 times this Brahmin thread? Who tied the knot at the end of the thread? And who converted ordinary thread into sacred thread. How it happened? Who chanted mantras? Because nothing can be purified unless mantras are chanted. Lord Brahma replied to his questions. Maya chotpaditam sutram vishnuna triguni kritam. Granthi bandhana trinetrena Gayatri mantrena mantrina, he said. Oh, dear disciple Narada, I created this thread. Lord Brahma created the thread, means. And Lord Vishnu multiplied into three times. 3 times 3, 9, 9 times 9, 81. There are secret, we will teach later on, someday. Our disciples are taught this. Lord Vishnu multiplied this thread into 3 times. And Lord Shiva, Trinetran, Lord Shiva, he tied the knot at the end. And we three combined by the order of Supreme Lord Sri Kṛṣṇa and chanted mantras together to purify it, convert into a sacred thread from ordinary thread. Like that. So just buy from shop 10 rupees, 20 rupees and put it on the shoulder, that's all, we became Brahmin. That is not the way to do things. That is not. Anybody can buy Sudra, Chandala, Malecha. The shopkeeper's business is to make money. He sells anything you buy. So you buy a thread and put it on your shoulder, becomes a Brahmin. The sacred thread is not a thread, not just a piece of thread. No. This is created by the order of the Supreme Lord Sri Kṛṣṇa for qualified people, twice borns. And by his order, these 3 people acted in 3 different ways and chanted conjointly, 3 of them, to purify the thread. Chanting Gayatri mantra. Gayatri mantra is called Brahma Gayatri. Means the mantra of the Supreme Lord. We chant daily. The knot on the Brahman thread, it is called a Brahma Granthi. Means the knot of the Supreme Lord. By his order, Lord Shiva tied. Don't belong to Lord Shiva. No. Just like me, if I make a cabinet out of wood, it don't belong to me, it belongs to the owner who told me to make it and gave me salary. Similarly, not tied by Lord Shiva, don't belong to Lord Shiva, it belongs to the Supreme Lord. That's why it's called Brahma Granthi in Sanskrit. So, Bharat Mahārāja had a Brahmin thread, but he was making a drama, acting crazy, dumb, deaf and dull, because he did not want to commit any offense, so to stop next birth. Thank you very much.